Hello, this is my Omen guide on Sunset. We're going to start off on B on defense. So I don't usually actually play B site a whole lot. I'm usually playing in the other parts of the map, market, top mid, A link, and just A site in general. The reason why I don't play here is because I think a lot of ciphers like to play here because this trip exists, which is pretty good reason to play. Sometimes I'll have chambers go A and I'll play like top mid or market, and that's kind of how it goes. But the normal smoke you're going to be doing on B is this one. It's just when they call for it, you'll smoke main. Pretty easy. There's not really a set paranoia here that I do 100% of the time, but there is like one that I'll do sometimes on ecos and things. I'll do one like this at the start of the round. It's not great because it does leave pockets where they're not flashed. But yeah, it's a flash you can get quite deep, so it can be quite nice sometimes. I'll also do this smoke. This smoke is pretty good for stopping this cypher cam from seeing the cross. So if you are wanting to like stop them just like getting this information for free, you can place this smoke. So it might force them to use like a fade prowler, sky dog, sky flash to find that info, or maybe even a dart, silver dart over here. That's kind of how that would sort of like force them. This smoke would force them to do that, and that's kind of it for B site. I don't really do a whole lot otherwise. Sometimes I'll like play over here and get one, try and TP out. Usually I'll die before I TP out, to be honest, but that is a play that has potential. Next, I'll go move on to market. So, when I play market, I'll usually play through mid if my teammates are. If they're not playing through mid, I'm going to be closing this door, and I'm going to be playing basically as if I'm a B player. So I'm going to be TPing on top of this. So when they actually come into B, then I'll be doing this. Bear in mind, I actually don't TP on top unless they are like putting pressure onto B. Otherwise, I want to save my TP and not have to drop down from my rotation. And when they smoke this, obviously you can see over, so it's pretty nice for if they're going into B. You have to bear in mind, obviously, don't want to be pressured from mid. So if you haven't closed this, you want to be careful. You want to have like a teammate here that's like holding mid in some ways, or like basically very little reason or very little chance that they're going to be mid. Next, we're going to go over top mid. So there are some smokes I'll throw when I'm playing market as well. So this is one I'll throw when I'm actually playing market more so than not, so I can fight top mid with my team. Or sometimes I'll do it over here as well, just so my teammates can ignore this fight, and I can get up like this, and we can fight sort of tiles, and I can like pressure this doorway through the smoke, and they can pressure tiles, and that's quite nice too. There's also a one-way here as well, if I actually get it right. It's here somewhere, there it is. Basically, you just want to get it as far back on this wall, on top, and it should be a one-way. Yeah, there you go. One way up until a bit here. There is definitely better ways to do it. I think get it a tiny bit lower as well, actually. I do it better when I'm actually in game, but yeah, this does work. They can't see you and you can see them. Pretty decent one way. Bear in mind that you don't want to be like too far out with this one way. You want to be playing sort of like in this angle because they can peek from this side and they can run like walk tiles upon you. So you want to be careful, like not to be too open when using this one way. Next we'll go on to. So actually no, we won't go on to that yet. We'll go on to mid. Still some mid. You can TP here as well early. I usually only do this if I have like a low buy or run a bonus or something, where like I want to look for an upgrade and want to do something sneaky. Then I'll do something like that. That's like how that will go as well. You can also TP. Don't have to TP here. You can TP into tiles too. He's also a pretty decent TP because you can sometimes catch this player off guard as well. Sometimes they won't expect you to be able to TP there because this player is top mid. Very weird to be honest, but maybe as the map like gets more like has more time for people to learn it, then people will probably be more aware of what's possible. So next we're going to go on to A. So the main two A smokes are going to be this one, which is one for like A main, and this one for elbow. These two are the main ones you're going to be using to defend. There is also one you can do in very certain situations here, where if your team is getting split on through mid to A, you can do like these two smokes, and what will happen is that this one they'll be basically very scared to move into the A players, because the only way that like they can have pressure on the A players at that point at this point is going to be either through the smokes or elbow. And if you can like double up with your A player on elbow or whatever if you want to do that. You can also do things like if there's the smoke here, then these players, if anyone decides to go this way, will be getting pressured by anyone rotating from B on your team. I'm going to sneeze. Yeah, so anyone trying to push this will be getting pressured from rotators. So you can like sit in this smoke and they'll be forced to kind of push into you. It can be quite good. Or not even sit in the smoke, you can kind of sit in this corner. You can sit anywhere you want to kind of defend it. In here as well, it's fine. Bear in mind though that this is actually worse than sitting in front of the smoke, because when people come out the smoke, they're going to be running into your crosshair. But if you come out the smoke, if they come out the smoke and you're here, they're going to swing out the smoke. It means that they're moving sideways on your screen, and this way they're moving forward on your screen essentially. Even if they swing this way, right? So they're going to be a much easier kill from this angle than they will be from this angle, and that goes for plenty of other angles when it comes to smokes, plenty of other angles in general. So next as well, there's a paranoia here that you can do at the start. Really good with like raised rockets or jets to dash forward with knives and things. And you can also do it like over here as well if you are concerned with them playing a bit more defensively right at the start. Then you do it sort of in this area too. Both work, but I think this one is probably a bit more reliable for getting like the initial kills at least. I don't really have any TPs defensively. You can, I guess, sit up here, but I don't think it's very good on defense. I've tried it like once or twice. I didn't like it. I don't think there's anywhere like great elevation you can get onto. There probably is definitely times and places to do it, like maybe with this smoke, and you can like sit on here and get a kill main and drop off. That is definitely possible. I actually didn't try it like that before, so maybe I should actually try it like that soon. Might work. And then we're going to go on to attack. So on B, there are like, a couple lines for like paranoias, for instance. So you can do one initially over here, right? You just at the top of the barrier, you just do this. This one can work for like an AWP being here, but I wouldn't personally do this if you have other tools to get rid of that AWP, basically. If there's like a flash or a stun you have, then I would recommend using that over using the paranoia. Next, I'm going to talk about, I'll talk about some of the paranoias. So there's two other paranoia lines here. You want to make sure you're pinging to get them right. So there's one here, which is good when your teammates want to push deeper, and there's one here when your teammates push into sight. When it comes to the smokes for taking sight, you want one market usually. This one is usually non-negotiable. You really need this one. And then there are a couple of the ones you can do. There was this one early on that people were doing to kind of stop players from like wrapping around. I personally don't think it's that good. I think it's good in like very certain situations where it makes sense to take like front sight. It makes sense to take market, but then you won't be taking back sight. In that case as well, like if you have market, like you probably want to be smoking, not that, sorry. You want to be smoking this and this. And then that way you have like market and like front sight. That's kind of like how these smokes would like sort of set up, but that's very rarely going to happen in ranked, I think. Honestly, maybe even competitive as well. But this one is going to be the normal one you're going to do with this one. You're going to be doing this one a lot of the time, because generally on Sunset, you want to be taking back sight a lot on B, because it just seems really easy, at least for now, is what I feel when I play competitive, when I play ranked. That back sight is fairly easy to take. The only big angle that really is annoying is this one. And if you have a flash, stun, whatever, then it should be a free kill to be fair. This is like the most problematic angle, and that doesn't really say much. Sorry, that says a lot, sorry, about how easy it is to take the side. Take the back side. Next, we're going to talk about mid. So when I'm like running mid, usually I'm going to be placing this smoke a lot. Obviously waiting for it to pop before I run out. And if we decide to go B, if we decide to go B, obviously I've already showed the smoke. We're going to do this smoke with it as well, so we can kind of take the side. Bear in mind that Boba or CT, whatever you want to call it, will be open. Usually, unless you've waited for the initial smoke to recharge, which usually you won't have the time to like wait in ranked, because people will like over rotate probably to you, and a lot of people will get pushed. You'll get pushed to like push into side basically. When it comes to as well to like playing mid solo, so if you're playing a bit more solo, not playing the strong solo with the team, and not playing with like the 3 or the 4, then you can do lurks in mid, like in this smoke. Bear in mind that I wouldn't do it in the initial smoke you place, because if you do it in the initial smoke you place, you'll place this right at the start, right? And there's a decent chance that someone's in it. There's a pretty decent chance that someone could be in it. So I wouldn't be too... I would be like skeptical about walking into the initial smoke. I would actually wait for it to go down, then place another one, and then walk into that smoke when you're close. When you're close, probably not that close, you'll probably be over here-ish sort of area. So you can still run into them if they decide to go back into the next smoke. But sometimes people will like be afraid of going back into the smoke after the gap. Sometimes. Because they'll be scared that they got spotted and pre-fired and things like that, right? When the smoke goes back up. Among other reasons. And when I'm going through here, usually people are going to get complacent and just rotate through here. And defenders are going to like to rotate through here. And usually if they're scared of you in like lurking here, they'll rotate this way. So it's really good to do this like early on in attacking halves, because you actually get like a lot of value from like trying to force them to not play into this space. So if you do get value from lurks, then you can really force them to take really longer, like a lot longer rotations, and it can really push the time limit on them, which is really, really good. Also, you know, there's plenty of like nice flanks you can do when that actually starts to happen too. So when they start running this way, you can actually hear them running in their spawn from here. If I do like you can see on the map, I can see them run there if I'm in the smoke. So I can actually time my lurk with them rotating into this corridor and get a free kill. Next we move on to if we're going to A through mid. So usually you will still be placing this to start, but the difference is that when this goes down, you'll be pushing, and you'll probably have this smoked, and then you'll probably smoke this deep, and then you can take both sides. You don't really have to smoke it deep. You can smoke it like this too, but bear in mind you lose like a bit of control. You're giving them like a lot more control, and you can just take this if you have enough players. Obviously, if you're low on players, then it might be difficult to like commit people into the alleyway, into like the LECT sort of area. And then you'll end up like crunching the A player. So ideally you want like 3 or 4 players here. You want a weak side here, like of 1 or 2 players. And then you can kind of crunch the A players with this smoke setup. And that's kind of it for attacking through mid. Unfortunately, there's not like any good like TPs I found in mid. But there is one in A that I do like, or a couple in A that I do like. Next we'll talk about A. So when attacking A main, there's a nice paranoia here you can do. Initially, you usually do this on rushes, or if you have a raise rocket, etc. That can take advantage of blinding the initial person. Usually it's going to be like a Sky playing here sometimes. In my experience, getting info early. You can abuse that if you want to, with a raise or a jet or something dashing forward, whatever you want to do. There is also a smoke you can do early initially. I wouldn't be placing it from here. Usually I'm going to be placing it over here. Placing it from here. And this is where I get like the TP. So you can TP onto box like this, and I actually go like this box because you can kind of go into cover like this, and you can kind of jiggle and take fights. And if you're ever in proper danger, you can always drop down and then run alley or something, right? Or an elbow, sorry. So I think it's pretty good spot to TP on top of. And you just have to be careful on the initial time you do it. Like you want to make sure that you're not just TPing in the face of an enemy with this TP. Sometimes you can do that, so you're going to be careful. The other smoke you're going to do is going to be on CT. There isn't really any other smoke that you really want to do on A. There are some ones that were people doing early, like this one, but it's not very good, so I would stay away from this one. It's good for defense, this one is. So you will be giving them a bit more space to work with. You'll give them gaps like this, or you'll give them a gap on this side, like not quite like this, but there could be a gap where they can kill the alley and fall back. Similar to how I do on my Cypher guide sometimes. On my Cypher gameplay, how I demonstrated in my Cypher guide. And then when I actually get onto site, TPing up here I find is really, really nice. I like TPing up here, combined with this smoke as well. Sometimes you can get some like free kills over the smoke because people won't realize that they are visible to you. Some people are getting better at pre-aiming it, so it is going to be one of those things where it will get worse as time goes on, as people understand the angle a lot more. But it is good for now. I think it's a pretty good angle in general, actually, because of the way you can tuck here, and you can kind of play time with a teammate as well. If you have a teammate like elbow, or for instance, as well, you can like fight together in 3-2-1, things like that. It's pretty good. And then when it comes to post plant on A, as I said, I will be up here in post plant quite a bit, or I'll actually be still on this box. Kind of depends how the round's going, and like how the round's gone, what my teammates have been doing, that sort of stuff. But when it comes to the context, I'm going to be trying to be on one of these elevations most of the time on the post plant, because I feel like on this map, on this site, it's really hard to play post plant for the attackers, because the defenders I feel like can retake the sites quite easily. So I feel like this is like the best way I've found for me playing Omen to defend the post plant. And that's kind of it for the guide. There's not really a huge amount I've gone over. I haven't gone too much about my ult as well, because usually the ult is honestly, it's quite similar to Cypher's in the way that you can talk about it in a guide, where it's quite contextual. It has its certain mechanics and certain things it does, but it's not really something I can put into like a set guide very much, unless there's like a specific tech with it in this map, which there isn't as far as I know. So yeah, that's it for the guide. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next one.